All right, so to follow up, I did a an Unwrapped Justice League by Jim Lee. I am now going to do the other book that finds its way onto my desk more often than not. The Suicide Squad by Jim Lee, Unwrapped edition. So it's the raw pencils. This one has a lot more pages in it than the last one, where they had to use the inked page because they did not have the pencil file or whatnot. So yeah, this one has a lot more of that, and if I remember right, it also has some stuff that Jim took upon himself to ink as well, and it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear it was not Scott. So yeah, yeah, cool little intro page. Um, Again, yeah, this stuff has the text balloons, the word balloons, and the captions and all that. So, um, not too daunting. This was a cool. This was a cover on a. They ended up putting out a blank sketch cover of this issue here. It was a April Fool's special, I think. And yeah, I did a ton of commissions on the blank of this book. This was the only floppy from this entire run that Jim Lee illustrated that I actually peeked through, and it was because I was drawing on so many of the blanks from this book. Um, so yeah, and it was, and that book didn't even that book didn't even really sell me because it was just Suicide Squad. I really wasn't buying into it too much, even with Jim Lee, at the helm with the line art. So yeah, but this is a very cool edition. You get to see him revisit a lot of the stuff, with cool shots of the Joker and obviously Harley Quinn. She's a fun character, an actually fun character to illustrate. So yeah, not too crazy with the backgrounds in here compared to a lot of his other recent DC work, and I think this was 25th. I'm wrong, 2016. So somewhat recent. I mean, anything within 4 years is recent. It takes 2 to 3 years to make a film that we consider new, right? So let's just say it's recent, because it's a comic. I mean, he's pretty much drawing like this still these days. Like this is very much very similar to his style now. Yeah, so this stuff is pretty. Again, like just like 100% of Jim's other work, it's all legible. The storytelling is always solid. And there's like crazy, the stuff like this is things that for an artist or a writer, start seeing stuff like this, it can spark some interest on your own characters and things that you might want to do that are kind of cool. So yeah, in this book, this was the off-putting thing to me. They did put in the prelim artwork and stuff from these little side story stuff. Yeah, this stuff does not interest me. I'm sure there's other people who they do, but I was buying this because a Jim Lee book, Jim Lee art. So yeah, this stuff here, I you know give me the next Jim page. I just flip through it. So but luckily it's not, that was what, 5 or 6 pages. It's not too much of the book, and it's significantly smaller. I'm just going to point this out for anyone thinking about getting it. It's a lot smaller than the Justice League book, which was this here. I think is 4 or 5 issues, and the Justice League book is a dozen, right? So maybe a little over half the size because there is I think that they had to for filler. There is a bunch of bonus content in the back of here, so just to validate it being a hardcover edition, I guess. That is my guess. I don't know that for a fact, but I would guess that. Yeah, this is a very strong. I like that. I like the hands. I really dig the hard light and the shadow casted, and the anatomy of the hands that he was drawing here. So yeah, they're fun. And again, I mean, he's able to play with these expressions with Harley and stuff. So, But yeah, so all these pages, these are all very strong story pages. You get to see Jim draw a bunch of characters that I don't recall seeing him draw in books. Some of this acid trippy stuff with this weird, Joker hallucination thing. And then you get to see him draw a bunch of stuff. This stuff in a weird way kind of reminds me almost as if he was doing like a coda from the Wildcats books. And then of course this is without trade dress. This is the pencils to the cover that they used here as well. But the this was the cover of the like the actual book with the logo and all that. Yeah. And again, I don't know how much of this that he possibly handed off for background assistance and stuff, or if he did it all himself. Because I think at this time, I mean, I'm sure this book was probably doing pretty well for them, so probably opened up the ability to have additional artists art assist with backgrounds and stuff. But again, I'm not really sure. Like a lot of this, I mean, it's believable just because of like a lot of the deadlining and a lot of the when I say deadlines, I'm talking about a line that has no thick to thin movement. It's just a five, a five, a five, a five. You're not seeing any of that 0 to 1 to 3 to 5. The TP effect that you get from using pencil, even even as pressure, the same way you would with like a Hunt 102 when inking and all that. And even some liners. I'm able to emulate a lot of the ink methods with liners just because I've been using them for so long. Yeah, this here. I think would have actually been a better sell for me. Like if I didn't know what this book was, I feel like this here, just because this is just more aesthetically pleasing with these characters, and it has movement like that. Let's go kind of look right. This here is just It's an awesome piece. It's just your typical here's a team, be interested. This is interesting to me. So yeah, I would have almost. I mean, if I was in control of producing this book, I would have pushed for this piece to be the cover. That's just my opinion. Yeah, this is odd too. So like a lot of these I think are stats. I don't have these floppy, so I don't know, but I'm assuming that these panels were statted over and over. And then what you'll see here is a change in expression right here with these two. And so these are probably cut and paste on top of this panel to give it a completely different look. But I'm pretty positive that if these are stats of these panels, that it was probably colored once and then in that process, not during the inks. I think Scott probably would have inked all this just as is, and then let the color separate. The computer colorist do the heavy lifting on making sure this stuff is together. But it's doing the colorist a favor too, though, because when you color one panel, you're knocking out a third of the page with that same panel. Yeah, these are all. It's funny because you'll see in the bonus content in here, there's pages with these characters that are almost better. I don't want to say that, but I feel like there's some pages that were omitted from the actual published book that um, were pretty damn good. Like I don't understand why they were not used, or that alternate pages were created. So maybe there was they might have shifted gears at some point with the story. Yeah, this is so I'm wondering too. So like I'm assuming Scott Williams was the inker on this, but there's a lot of things in here where it's just a jambalaya of lines. Like I don't understand a lot of what's going on in here. Um, just as myself doing a lot of inks lately, but um, I might interpret this one way, but someone who's worked with Jim for decades, like Scott, probably he might actually know, like, oh, he doesn't want actually this effect. you want something else, or like a dry brush or something, because that doesn't make any sense to me right there. Like everything else is legible. Um, but again, that's why I like these books, because you kind of get to see, you get to see behind the curtain of what's actually occurring with artwork, before it goes through all the process of the inks and the colors and everything. Yeah, these word heavy pages are a little annoying because I want to kind of see what was going on back here, but at least the opportunity to own this book exists. So yeah, this is a cool. I really like this shot. So yeah, I'm assuming that's the end of that issue. Here's an example here. This is an example where they opted for an inked page versus the pencil. Um, but funny enough, there is a high res of this actual piece online of just the pencils, with even the blue line borders and stuff. So um, yeah, I'm surprised that they did not use that one, because it's a pretty tight piece in the pencil form. It's nicely drawn, legible. Yeah, here's another example: full inks. Yeah, yeah, and I've always really liked this page in particular. I really like this shot here. This is pretty cool, but this stuff, these between these two here, they read really well. Yeah, and then the backhanded slice here is pretty sick. This has always been a cool shot, and for artists, I mean, for myself at least, shots like this are always difficult, because everything is at an upward angle. Um, they're easy to fake because you have other body parts like knees and other muscles you can cover stuff, um, but they're not always fun. These are just bizarre. These characters are crazy bizarre. It's interesting to see Jim drawing those. Yeah, this piece. I remember this piece in color. I actually prefer this piece in black and white. Yeah, Jim was going off. Like this line art here is insane. I really like this though. It's almost Stephen Platty looking. Like there's like 8 levels of cross hatching going on within like this like 1 by 1 inch area, just to define one cheekbone. But then he kind of drops back into the his older method of the solid blacks, the hard light, a little bit of rendering. But it works. Yep, another example. There's a fully inked page there. So yeah, I'm not gonna go through this whole book. I think that okay, so like I think that the those other pages that are not by Jim in the front. Um, yeah, there's another ink page. I'm pretty sure that that's the only area within this full book that's not Jim's art. So like I said, like five or 6 pages or whatever. Um, this doesn't look like Scott's inks to me. The faces don't really look the way Williams would. Um, so yeah, Bat was inking. Jim Lee was an inker. Okay, so yeah, Matt Banning, that's Bat, who everyone knows for inking all that awesome Silvestri Darkness work. And also Dave Finch. He was inking Finch for a bit. Sandra Hope, yeah, Scott Williams. Another inked page there. There was one page in particular here that's always bothered me. This page bugs me. I know it's Jim's inks, but it looks like when he does his the streaming art sketches, it feels like that. So it doesn't have the finished look of even the pencils. Like it seems like it was maybe laid out and then like finish inks with very fat brush pens and just some fine liners. Like it just lacks the finesse. It lacks the finesse. Um, of a Scott Williams inked page, but maybe it was Deadlines. Who knows? Yeah, easily. If you were to compare that page to even this page here, this page is awesome. I have a pretty decent eye with guessing who inks stuff too, but this one here is throwing me off a bit. Maybe Sandra, I'm not sure. They all kind of carry that house style still of the Wildstorm style into the DCU with all this work. So they all have that same uh, completist, very polished style, thick to thin, almost like '90s grunge. Loud, quiet, loud. Yeah, this stuff. So I think we're getting into bonus territory here pretty soon. So yeah, here's these pages. Looks like Jim wasn't scanning a whole lot of his work by this point. He's just handing them off. Um, yeah, this is a pencil. Got an ink page, a pencil page. But inks are awesome as well, right? I'm not just buying these because I just want gem pencils. Like seeing the inks, this stuff doesn't bother me. Like I'm okay with seeing the ink stuff too. So yeah, easily over 3/4 of this book is fully pencil Gimli work. The rest is uh, significantly more than that Justice League Unwrapped. Okay, so here we go. So you got some unpublished work here, unused pages. They're published, obviously, in here. So you got some script, a little bit of a page. You can see a little bit of a ghost Joker image here. I don't know if you can or not. So they kind of brought a white gradient up here so you can't see what's going on down here. More script, and then you had these. Here's 2 pages here. So it's unused pages for 2 and 3. I think these pages are awesome. Again, it would require me actually reading the book to see why they were not used. Maybe, yeah, drawing animals. There you go, man. Awesome. Yeah. So this stuff's great. This would have looked fantastic, with Scott's inks. So it's another page that was not finished. Her face looks cool. Like this kind of thing is I do this a lot too. A lot of the shading around the nose, the eyes, and the mouth. Um, just got to pick the right lines, or it doesn't age them. So he does it really well here too with Harley Smile. But yeah, this is an unused page, another unused page for 6. So it looks like they scrapped. It looks like they scrapped the first so many pages of one of the books. Um, yeah, I mean it's a strong page. I don't get it, but okay. More script, and then here is the pencils for the trade paperback. And okay, so like it's okay for me to be critical, right? So this I love seeing Jim Lee pinups. This piece here reminds me, just because I have hundreds of hours of looking at Jim's work. This piece reminds me a lot of like say like his Divine Right books, where they were almost like selling an aesthetic but not the art, right? Like here's a bunch of characters. I'm not telling you to care for them, but just look at them. Like here's a bunch of stuff, right? So that's kind of how I feel with this. Like again, I'm going to go back to it. There's that other piece that I would have opted before this. Um, I mean, hell, I would have actually used that piece maybe for their original trade, and then used, you know, um, the line art of that same piece for this one here, for this cover. So yeah, it's a nice piece. It's a nice piece. It's just not like I don't like this feels more like an interior pinup versus a cover. So um, not my circus, not my monkeys. I just have opinions. But yeah, this is a fantastic book, and also it's a lot cheaper. So the Justice League book here, it's got a retail $39.99. The one I'm just reviewing right now, it's got a retail of $29.99. I'm pretty positive that I only paid 15 or so for this, and pretty sure I got it off Amazon. So I'm not going to put any links below. However, I do have a link below if you would like to back my Ragetality War on Indiegogo. I got the links down there. And yeah, so anyhow, yep, that's my review on that book. Keep drawing.